Hello, this is Tony Iommi, and this is my book, Iron Man, and you're watching Artisan News.
The biggest obstacle in writing them?
For me, it was probably talking about my private life, because I haven't done that. I've never done that. It's always been Black Sabbath for the last 40 odd years, and so to talk about, what's happened in my life and my family and wives and or divorces and all the rest of the stuff was difficult, really.
I love the fact that you were able to talk about some of the earlier stuff because, like you said, this is stuff that nobody really knew about, and it sounds like you had such vivid, and you still have such vivid memories of that time.
I do, yes. The memories are embedded in there of what of what I sort of spoke about.
Yeah. And one of the things that I guess is the biggest eye opener for people who are not familiar with you is about the accident with cutting your fingers. Was that an easy thing to kind of go through and
Tell you about.
Tell about?
Yeah. Well, I used to, when I was at work, when I had a proper job, I used to do welding. I was a welder, and electric welder and gas welder, and I used to weld metal. And so I worked in a factory, and there used to be somebody that pressed the metal and sent it down to me. Then I'd weld it. And this one day, the person that pressed the metal didn't come in, so it meant I had to go on the machine and do it myself. And I'd never been on this machine, and it's strange because that particular day I was going to leave. I was leaving the job. I'd given my notice in a week before because I was turning professional to join a band. And what happened was I'd gone in the morning and worked. Then I went home for lunch, and I said to my mother, "Oh, I'm not going in this afternoon." And she says, "You go back and finish the job off properly." So I did. I went back to the press, and as I'm pushing the metal in, the machine came down on my hand, and the reaction to pull your hand back just pulled the fingers off, and that was it.
And I think it's ingenious on how you kind of experimented and try to work around that disability. I mean, how long did it take to find something that actually worked with your technique?
God, it took a long time, really. I had to first of all make a thimble, and then I had to find a substance that would work on top of the thimble that I could put on, because it was like shiny. So I had to find something that would grip the string. And I tried different materials, and that didn't work, and different leathers. And then eventually I found a good leather that worked, and it was my old jacket that I had. I started cutting that up and used that. And I still use that today. I've still got some left, funny enough. Not much, but I've still got about that much left.
So are you going to have enough to cover,
Yeah, my life, yeah. Till I pop off, I'll have enough, I think.
So you're going to get nervous as you're getting down and like, am I meeting my end?
Yeah, that's it. I've had it now. Yeah, everybody will be sending me leather in, won't they?
And I also thought it was interesting about the dynamics within Sabbath and how Bill was always the brunt of a lot of your jokes. I mean,
yeah.
Talk about how that dynamic played out, and also the, does that still go on today, where he's kind of like the guy that?
No, well, yeah. I mean, Bill was the brunt of us. Well, we all played jokes on each other. Funny enough, I mean, and it's always been the case with every lineup I've had. It's always been the same. It's always somebody, and it's usually the new guy that comes in. When Ronnie came in, it was him. But with the original lineup, it was Bill. And it wasn't just me, it was Ozzy as well that would we'd pick on him. But Bill, it was all in good spirit, you know, it was all in good fun. But it just went a bit over the top at the end. It was the stunts got worse, and it got, you know, well, we almost killed him really. In the end of the day, when I actually set him on fire, it was pretty brutal.
Setting Bill on fire, you know, does that put an end to all practical jokes at that point, or do you kind of think more about what you do?
Well, that was it put an end to setting him on fire. It didn't put an end to the practical jokes, because they carried on, and they always have done. And as I say, even when Ronnie came along, they carried on, and when Cozy Powell came in the band, they carried on. And I always had an ally. Like Cozy was as bad as me. You know, he was a real practical joker.
Yeah. And the whole thing about the girl who was passed out that you almost threw over the balcony.
Yes.
And that story was just absolutely amazing. I mean, was there anything at that time? Was it building so it didn't seem extra strange to you, or was it still as bizarre as you make it sound in the book?
It was, when I look at it now, it's frightening to think that almost happened, you know, because it just didn't seem like anything then. Really, we had this girl came to our room, and there's myself and the old manager, Patrick Meehan, and she was out of it. She actually must have took something. It wasn't off us, but she'd taken something, and we were in the room and partying away, and ourselves, and then she came up, and she passed out just like that, and we thought she was dead, because we couldn't feel her breathing or anything. We thought, oh God, what's going to happen? And he going, I'm thinking through my head, how are we going to explain this? Somebody's died in our room. And so he had a great idea of throwing her off the balcony and make pretend she'd fell off there. So we picked her up off the bed and started carrying her over to the balcony. And she murmured, and that, thank God she did, otherwise she'd have been over the balcony. It was awful to think about it now.
I guess when you're put in that position, you think of all different things, you know.
Oh yeah, I just thought, oh God, we're going to be in jail for saying we'd murdered her and all this sort of stuff. It was just.
And any stories that you withheld from the book, or is this like a complete thing, or are there stories that were yet to be told?
Oh, there's probably loads of stuff that didn't go in the book, because they didn't want it to be. It would be twice as thick, to be honest, but they wanted it to be a certain amount of pages. They said they didn't want a big book. But there is a lot of other stuff that we took out. And again, I probably rambled on about my friends and all the rest of the thing, you know, and that wasn't that interesting to people.
Yeah, and it seemed like everything was so closely knit back then. I mean, you had Free, you had Zeppelin, you had yourselves, and obviously the relationship between you and John Bonham was very special. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we were friends, and we all were friends. And I used to go out quite a bit with John. We used to go clubs, and you know, I'd either go to his house and have a party, and he was quite a wild character, I might say. And it was good fun, you know. It was good fun, unless we went out and he was driving. Then that was bad fun, because he used to get really pissed, drunk, and then drive back. And in them days, the police weren't so hot, you know. I remember one occasion when we went to a club. He just bought a new car, and he bought something like a Maserati. And we were driving up the wrong way up this road, and I said, we're going the wrong way. He went, oh, it's all right. And he drove straight out, because in England we got the islands that you go round to go to different lanes. And he goes straight over the island. We got stuck on this island on the top, ripped all the bottom of this new car he'd got. Oh, no. So we had to get out and get a cab and get home. He left it there. But these were the things he'd done, you know. So it turns out that I used to end up driving most of the time to make sure we were all right. You never knew you were going to get home with him.
This event today, meeting the fans, I mean, what is the most rewarding thing about doing in stores and kind of shaking hands?
It's really great to see, you know, like the yesterday one. It was fabulous to see the turnout, you know. and to meet the fans. You don't have a lot of time with them, to be honest, because you sign in and the next one comes, But it's so nice to see them, and they're great fans, really great.